Communiqués from the Wreckage, a reading by Fatima Bacot. I've been thinking a lot about the broken amongst us, for those watching and what they've been watching, for the ones who still carry a sacred ember beneath the ash of our incinerated systems, who can still feel and who can recognize red lines, who can feel others' pain and who can feel the pain of a world that does not care and that turns away from or condones, justifies, calls for, celebrates, and profits from mass violence upon the earth and humanity. We are in a place where faith in humanity is lost and globally admitted as such by people who are despairing, and where existing beliefs in God or an intelligence or order in the universe have been greatly tested, fallen short, or are in need of drastic transformation to meet what has surfaced and that now needs to be seen, held, digested, metabolized, and transformed in entirely new ways if ever we are to evolve from the cycle of violence of many millennia. It's a flatlining of sorts experienced by those among us who have abandoned narratives, sacred cows, and isms of all kinds, and who have been ripped apart and undone by the inhumanity and cruelty of systems, leaders, and relationships they once gave their lives, hearts, and energy to, and that can no longer be stomached. Those ones may open their mouths to speak, but our hearts instead decode atrocity and the forever war machine that is supposed to be good for us and that will ensure everlasting peace on the millions of corpses of others too dehumanized and unworthy to rate a mention. We have walked away from temples and tactics, from spiritual seduction and bypassing and political games, from light that refused to even name genocide, ecocide, or fascism, or honor the earth, its human beings, and its species, from belief systems and leaders who tell us to look away from the wreckage whilst life as we know it is burned, buried, drowned, starved, erased, or violated in any number of ways, and for truly unbelievable, outrageous, but always profitable reasons. So this place where we are is not one of humanity's triumph, except for the triumph of the human spirit enduring in the aftermath of violation, hypocrisy, and the false light that brings us to our knees in hopelessness and shock. A place not with illusions and comforts intact, but with everything false laid bare. When we see the illness within the human heart, and that shows us whilst we have advanced in many ways, in others we are the same, and for the same reasons shown and outlined by many before us and many now. It's a place where all seems lost and reality is inverted. Terrorists and killers are elevated, given 58 standing ovations, and nominated by terrorists and killers for the Nobel Peace Prize. It's the stage in the movie where all seems lost. Empire is in its devastating ascendancy and on the upswing in full supremacy, enabled by its sycophants, cowards, and propagandists, and those upholding life, human rights, and law are banned, gaslit, jailed, punished, attacked, censored, blamed, and the majority remains silent or are silenced. It takes a village of enablers to get to this devastating, raw place. A place where all falls short to explain or fully express the vast chasm of cruelty that has opened up, where band-aids and advice to find the joy are desperately and ridiculously being offered as salves and solutions in the face of mass atrocity and deliberate horror. A time when the gates of hell have opened up and the monsters are in charge. In other words, the expression and manifestation of all of humanity's accumulated shadows and the things we do to protect those shadows, ourselves, our lives, our incomes, followers, belief systems, and ways of life. We are the ones pierced through our hearts by what we are witnessing in the form of genocide, ecocide, fascism, AI surveillance and control, vulture disaster capitalism, economies of genocide, killing for mere political gain or because God said so. The kinds of places where moral confusion, affronts, and injuries bear down on us, swirling in lawlessness, exceptionalism, and racism, and killers and war profiteers are standing and gesticulating in pools of children's blood and decapitated heads, insulting and attacking the body of humanity and the body politic, where all the mechanisms of the false peace or idealized light and love exist only in bubbles of privilege and escapism, for now. You've seen too much, you feel too much, and you're seeing through the mechanisms and the platitudes, and those who are considered the guardians of love, light, law, morality, and civility have shown otherwise, calling all onto the carpet and into question if we want to progress beyond polycrisis and mass murder. A chapter of the billions of dollars spent to weaponize against truth and truth-tellers, where innocents are considered vermin, scum, and human animals to be eradicated from the face of the earth, where the cry of the feminine principle of life, which is the earth, our relationality, our species, human beings, permeates all land, water, and air, the rape of her, the desecration of her. Those that feel this, that can feel and sense they are breathing in the pulverized and powdered remnants of children burned alive in Gaza. They're not necessarily the loudest people. They may be, but they're not necessarily celebrities, and they're not minding their words for their followers and their bank accounts and egos. They are real, the real ones. They are the wounded ones, the warriors, the silenced and collapsed ones, the devastated. They are the ones whose suffering is laughed at or called unspeakable names and are left for dead by a world and child killers that consider nothing sacred. They are the ones who've pleaded for help, who have lost everything and are still alive, the initiates of despair who are looking for voices and people fully here and alive and that don't lie, don't cover up, don't turn away, don't steal. The warriors in recovery or seeking respite who may say, if he, she survived that, maybe I can too, or maybe there is life after this, maybe there is ground beneath me and a seed I can plant. There are those who've also been called crazy, delusional, mentally ill, ignored, traitorous. They've toiled in desperation, despair, even unheard and invisible. Others have survived spiritual communities where sedation, inaction, manipulation, and betrayal were cloaked in righteousness, love and light, and even wisdom. The so-called good ones could not answer the call thus far. They could not cross the threshold and thus revealed their shadows, limitations, and self-interest. These ones have watched leaders and communities speak from a zone of interest world, tone deaf to the world, rendering the earth and others irrelevant, unawakened, and living in a bubble, doing the work of empire, creating not a single ripple in the putrid lake of empire, an empire that plans for, creates, and delights in others' suffering, dehumanization, mutilation of truth and moral clarity, humiliation, dismemberment in a global psyops campaign of sedation and numbness, in a worldwide assault on all that is beautiful and good. Here are the broken, the betrayed, and the fallen who are beyond the promises platitudes and social media posts about Martin Luther King, this or that political party, and Pleiadians bathing the planet in light. Powerful and broken, scared and scarred, yet sovereign, burned yet burning, they are unflinching in their grief and rage, and capacity to be with grief and rage, brought low, transformed, and utterly alive in this experience of life on earth. So much is ringing hollow now, filled with cognitive dissonance, and swallowed up and rendered irrelevant by the reality rising of worldwide genocide, worldwide polycrisis. And there are those disillusioned idealists, wounded in battle, the ones who have walked away but not yet healed. They may be isolated strategists and disenchanted, heartbroken idealists who felt they have had to walk away to preserve their integrity and sanity, and in so doing also lost their sense of belonging and beliefs with which they had been previously associated and felt safe within. They bravely cut themselves adrift or were ousted. They're smart, they see through bullshit, they long quietly or loudly for a new way to belong and to engage the world in a way that doesn't cost them their soul. These are the ones still carrying psychic scars from activism, spiritual circles, relationships, and wondering, was any of it real? How could all this now be so meaningless, so empty? They've all died more than once in this nightmare, and they've known the void, the betrayal, and the collapse. And they are people who are reckoning with their own mistakes, with the harm maybe they have intentionally or inadvertently caused, and who are searching for redemption and depth. No one wants the bypass, they want truth. They want polycrisis named and red lines named so that they can choose life and still choose life. And there are those warriors and witnesses, those who have seen too much to stay asleep, but perhaps they have not fully engaged as yet. They watch, weep, bear witness, and hold the line of reality in quiet, vital ways, even if they don't yet have a clear pathway to act. They may not be on the front lines, but their eyes are open. They often feel isolated, broken, uncertain, and yet they are allies because they too are dangerous to empire, because they are seeing it all, not turning away, and they are not sedated. None of any of these ones look away from pain. They don't devalue it or sanitize it. They don't justify or spiritualize it. And all of these are allies and soul kin, intimate with a scorched earth, incinerated laws, and two-faced leaders. They are not clapping. They breathe in the silence, the deafening silence, and watch from their own pain as delivered by humanity. They are witnesses, all of them, of an almost unspeakable horror, of unspeakable horror and abomination, saying, what have we done? What are we doing? What the hell is going on? How do we change this? So to all of us, I say, we see where we've been laid low. No more false light and bloodless hope. We have a seed and a knowing, a feeling and a vision. We are together. We don't need to rise all at once, all the time. We breathe into this moment. We form our communiqués and assemblies and movements of movements, and we know we are not alone. The sacred is not gone despite vicious and relentless acts. Actually, it's much more revealed now, hidden as it was beneath the veneer of so-called civility and morality. No, now it's more raw, and it lives here within you, within me, and we are doing this from the ground up. Our safety nets are in each other. We are each other's saviors, and we are the saviors ourselves, but needing no saviors. We know there's no spiritual or societal gloss that can drown out the screams or cover over the smell of blood, and that's a good thing. It's important to have zero confidence in what has been thus far in revealed systems of co-atrocity and mass disconnection from reality and consequences. It's not about this or that leader, but a deep conscious listening and validating of our and others' humanity, a trans-pollinated horizontal listening amongst seemingly disparate human beings who don't seem to fit just yet in the movement of movements, in the rising up. But they are bound together by a remembrance and right of return of what has been lost, and who want to regain it, claim it, work with it, and manifest it anew. We are the ones standing in the place of having lost the inessential and the essential, stripped bare, and who continue to rise when all seems lost, and as has always happened throughout the human journey. We walk into the unknown, we have our dreams, and we have each other.